Welcome to Pat's Cast, the unofficial Regina Pats podcast. I'm Matt,
I'm Chris.
and this is our episode for March 27th, 2021.
For Feist, the shot, he scores! Leighton Feist, low stick side on Suryenko, and it's another first career goal. Carrier raises up Feist, he's alone, Cole Carrier scores! Short-handed! Carrier, he'll move right up and shoot, it's tipped and they score! Braxton Whitehead, his first.
Well, Chris, how was your week?
Well, it was a pretty busy week.
Your week was okay? Because it certainly
it was
wasn't. Right. It wasn't the best week for the Regina Pats. We mentioned last week going into it. It's some tough games, some good teams with Winnipeg, PA, and Saskatoon. Things were tough. This is one of the it was one of the games, one of those 8:00 p.m. start games. I fell asleep before the end of the game. It was not a thrilling week to be a Pats fan. We took some on the chin this week.
Yeah, and I mean, I was at that game. If Kevin wasn't there as well and we were kind of chatting it up, I probably would have left early as well. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even bother doing the press conference after because I was like, I don't want to really ask some questions about how bad they played. Like, I didn't really want to get into that or ask players some tough questions.
Yeah,
I mean, they're still young and they don't want to talk about that kind of stuff. So I just left it to the pro and we picked up some Greg Carter bits and it sounded like Strush wasn't very happy at all. They didn't play the game plan that that they had put out for the team.
No, it was there was a glimmer there. Like, it wasn't a blowout right from the start. There was a glimmer in the second period, I think the start of the second period, where it actually looked they were kind of in the game. There was about a 6 minute stretch, 6-7 minute stretch where things were looking good.
I put down here the first half of the second period was much better, and they just couldn't maybe continue that kind of momentum, and it seemed like Winnipeg every opportunity they had, it was in the back of the net.
Their scoring touch is just phenomenal. They were just having their way that night too. But I mean, you say they couldn't maintain that. It wasn't like there was dramatic changes in the game. Like, there wasn't an event that happened really, was there, that threw it off? It was just too bad that they couldn't continue on with that style of play. Or it's sad because it seems like it's in them. They have it. It just fell apart somewhere for some reason, and then continued on down that path, and things didn't end very well at all. You referenced that press conference. When I was talking last week, I was saying how Strush doesn't seem to be very upset about things, and he was really quite upset about that one. And he seems like he really does buffer what he says to media. And from what we could hear from that interview, he was pretty upset. And unfortunately, one of the players that they called on next for the interviews, I think he was still feeling the ramifications of maybe what was said after the game to them. He was, and I don't blame him or anything, and he's young, and in this, we don't even have to really get into it, but it seemed like the team was pretty shook. Yeah, he had more on his mind than the questions being asked of him after that game, which rightfully so, because that was a pretty ugly game. It was. I know our good friend Matt Rowe was live tweeting the response to some of the goals, and he had some really good insight to some of the goals. Like, there was one where two passes just like bit hard to the puck carrier and they were gone, and then the final trailing guy comes in and screens the goalie, and it was just like, it was Timbit Pee-wee level hockey. It was ugly, and they deserve that one, I think.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough to watch. But then, you go into the next game and you see how they can play.
Right.
And then talk about Strush, and you talk about the post game, and he was full marks. He was just said full marks to the team. He gave him the credit when credit was due.
But why not, right? Like, okay,
No, for
yeah.
sure.
So yeah, going to PA here, and they played great. PA isn't maybe as strong as they were last year. They've had a few hiccups here. They're not the cream of the crop. Still a good team. They've got some good players on that team between Ozzy Weisblatt and Caden Goulet, and Max Paddock wasn't playing. But regardless, it's a quality team. Played really, really well in that game. The Pats did.
They didn't, maybe comparing to the Saskatoon game, but I thought their first period was better in the Saskatoon game than the PA game. It just seemed like they got some timely saves in the PA game, kept them close, and they were able to get it rolling in the second and the third.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, highlights from that PA game though. So Feist scores his first goal after a tough game against Winnipeg. That whole defensive crew is having their challenges, and I mean, they can come to one of our topics here of some injuries, right?
Cadeau, something like that, and Mitchell apparently are going to be out for a while.
Yeah, with Cadeau out and Mitchell out for a period of time. He didn't say exactly, but he said a while, not as long as the season. So they'll be back, but so you got two experienced defensemen there out, and I think I counted on our blue line, we had 3 of the 6 are rookies. Was it all these games?
Yeah. Right. You got DeWitt in there. Yeah, and then you got Feist, Berg. Yeah. Berg or Berge. I'm not too sure how that is either, but yeah, right. So you got 3.
And we talked about that in our preseason episode too. Was the lack of depth in the defensive core, and if there was any injuries, we could be a bit exposed. And I think we saw that this week with that.
Yeah, especially in that Winnipeg game, I thought.
Yeah.
There was a lot of mistakes, just some bad decisions with the puck, without the puck, and Winnipeg definitely capitalized on that.
You want to take some benefits from that game too. We can talk about Matthew Keeper and his second win now. I mean, this young goaltender looking fairly good, and I don't think there's any hiding it. That goaltending has been a bit of an issue with the Pats thus far. Bringing in a 20-year-old goaltender, you do maybe expect him to be,
a stabilizing kind of veteran.
Yeah, exactly. And
carry the load, carry the team when the team is, younger and struggling. He's there to lean on, right? Rather than throwing in an inexperienced keeper or Welke.
Yeah. So we have a bit of a clip here from Strush regarding that, the goaltenders and the situation going on there.
No dilemma, because when we did get Roddy, you're exactly right. It was for a full season, and it was for somebody young to come in and work underneath him. But for us, we're looking at development. We don't stop the development at 18, 19, and 20. We want to develop these older kids too. So giving Roddy an opportunity to play, earn a contract, the players love him. Yeah, he's struggling, but that doesn't mean he's not a good goalie. We have to work hard for him as far as our staff goes to help him get better. Hopefully we can do that away from games and get him into a game here that he can feel good about himself. And the other 2 guys, Welke's great. He's been great in practice. Excuse me. He works hard in off the ice. So there's going to come a time when he earns a start. And obviously we've seen Matthew do a great job in it. So it's not that it's a dilemma. It gives us opportunity. It gives us choices. And like I said, the players like all 3 of them, and they'll play hard in front of whoever's in net.
So Stru's doing his best to maybe deflect the fact that there's a bit of a goalie controversy, in my opinion. He's saying, they're all good, and we're giving them all some opportunity. They want to let Roddy Ross develop still and possibly earn that contract in a pro level or something like that. I don't know. How long? This is a short season. How long do you keep giving him an opportunity? And okay, they say he's a great guy in the dressing room and he's a leader. Yeah, but we need some wins. Like,
yeah, and that's a tough thing to do. Like, I mean, you do have the options, and we've seen all three this week, and there's only one good outcome. So it's kind of like, oh, do you start to lean on keeper? Like like I said, he held them into that first period in PA. The shots were 16-7 in that first period.
Yeah.
And he definitely looked solid. That was one of the best periods I've seen out of a Pat's goaltender this year.
Exactly. Like, we have to get some wins together here. There's just no time to mess around with it. It's 24 games. We're a third or quarter done already. Like,
over a quarter.
So we need wins now, and he talked about it. They want a winning culture. You don't build that by losing, right?
Nope.
Especially losing 8-3, 7-3, and getting shellacked. I don't know. Personally, I'd like to see keeper get till he proves us wrong. Why not? Right? Like,
exactly. Like, I don't know if you want to. Actually, I do want to make one more point on the PA game before my next point. But it was kind of funny. You talked about Paddock was hurt in that game. Well, they didn't have a backup dressed.
Yeah.
For the game, if anybody didn't catch that. So Winnipeg had loaned a goalie. He was in the stands waiting if need be.
Okay. Yeah, and I was wondering at some point when there was the one goal. No, that was in the Saskatoon game. Sorry, I'm getting them confused now. But I was thinking, oh man, are they gonna? But they didn't have a choice. They had to run with him no matter what. They would only have done that if he was injured and couldn't continue on. So
and it's kind of funny. I was looking at the game notes before that game. Schenko, or however you say his name, he has much better stats than Paddock does. It was kind of surprising, actually, despite him not having a win.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
He doesn't have a win yet since he lost to the Pats, and at the moment, Paddock is in net here tonight against Moose Jaw, and it is 3-2 mid-third for PA. So,
yeah, I mean, so I was sitting there watching that game, and I thought, okay, things are coming together. They got him back, reset after that 8-3 loss against Winnipeg. Strush had some comments on that. Let's lead into that here.
Top of the class. I mean, A+ for the guys, and it goes to show you need to go through a lot of different things that you can learn from to develop. And I think that what Winnipeg did to us, I think that might have pushed us a little bit. I know it did, but those are things that you have to go through and experience to get better. And the guys did that night. It's not for the lack of effort against Winnipeg. It was just, like I mentioned, the attention to detail wasn't there as we had in previous games. And then they came back tonight and they threw a great game out there. So good for our guys. I'm really proud of them.
So yeah, he's just referring the same things we said. Really happy to see the bounce back after tough Winnipeg game, and yeah, come out with the win. Things feel a little better, Got a goaltender that's making some good saves, keeping us in the game. And then we roll into Friday afternoon with Saskatoon, and boy, the wheels fell off early in this one. It was a 4-1 after one.
Yeah, I think it was 4-1. But the thing is, okay, so I kind of referenced it earlier. I thought their play in the Saskatoon first period was better than the PA first period.
Okay.
Despite them giving up the goals, this goals were all fluky. Like the first one was a dump in, is bounced off Welke right to the guy, and there's nobody in, right down the pipe. Nobody, the defensemen weren't skating down the middle. They're skating down the sides, waiting for him to pass it off or whatever. It's just unlucky. And then there's another one, it's going wide and it goes off the guy's chest and in. And what was it? What else do I got? There was just unlucky goals. One off a defenseman's skate, side of the net and in. It was
maybe not as bad. Not as bad as the score seems. But that's a tough hole to dig out.
Sure, they didn't play great, but I think maybe the score was a little unflattering of their play. But
then, hey, start of the second period again. They get a quick one. Bedard gets a quick one, right? Was it Bedard?
Yeah. He goes on, beautiful goal, 1-on-2, and he gets a shot off, and then he walks right past both defenders, a
Yeah.
20-year-old,
Like,
and
walked
just puts
by
his own
them.
rebound.
The league, if they don't want him to get attention, because I'm sure teams are like, oh, Bedard, stop making him look good. Like, don't. He didn't do anything that spectacular except just
No.
literally walk right by you, and you're like
Walk-
standing there.
Yeah, there's a 20-year-old. It's not
Yeah.
like some like rookie guy.
Yeah.
The other guy was a 15, but he walked by the 20-year-old. Like,
Yeah, like I was thinking that too. Like, other teams, I'm sure, don't want him to score against them, right? Stop letting him do that kind of stuff. But anyways, I think we got it to what? We got it to 4-3 at one point. Yeah.
yes.
So it's not I know it. You know, it was a tough game to watch. I mean, to be granted, I'll be honest, it was the 4:00 game, so I'm kind of cooking supper at the same time, and I wasn't watching every goal intently and kind of just watching the replays. But I do, and I also feel like it's tough to get a good feel for the games with just watching it on TV. Like, I don't know if you feel the same way. If you, when you were there, you got a better sense. But
yeah, it is. It's much better at,
especially trying to analyze them. Yeah, it's tougher to get a good feel of the team and the games thus far. The cover. Don't get me wrong. The coverage that they've put together with the East Hub is fantastic and sounds like it's better than the rest of the league. And I'm happy we have it. But yeah, it's tough to get a good vibe or kind of the personality of the team. And so yeah, when you see a 7-3 score and you're getting pumped 4-1 in the first period, and you're like, oh sheesh, here we go. We did give up 47 shots, which isn't awesome either. But I don't know. You're saying you're thinking this game, the score is not as indicative, as bad as the
Winnipeg game. I don't think.
Yeah,
not nearly as bad.
Okay.
I mean, they had way more. You know, they scored the 3 goals, but it seemed like they had a lot more opportunities. Like, Smith put one 5-hole, but it went out the other side of the net.
Yeah.
You know, Walker had a nice little dangle that he almost put in. Like, there was a lot more opportunities to score. It seemed like the play was a little.
It felt like the Saskatoon game. They could have tied it up. Actually, it was fairly tight, and Regina was carrying the play for a while there. They gained that energy again. The Bedard effect, when he starts rolling, gets some action going, the team seems to respond. And it just didn't come together. Yeah, they had those good opportunities. Zach Smith's been playing good. Massier had some nice plays too lately. Like, it just didn't click that game. And then, the score really got lopsided.
Yeah, it was really unfortunate there.
So, I mean, tough game, sitting now at what, 2-4. 2 overtime losses though, so 6 points, so tied for sixth place, I guess.
Tied with PA, but looks
in
like
points, but they have a game in hand. They're
playing that right now. So.
Okay. So, I mean, it is what it is. Now, looking at the schedule coming up, we've got Swift Current on Monday, Moose Jaw on Tuesday, and then Brandon on Thursday, which to me are all 3. Any one of those games they could win. They could lose any one of them too, but it's a chance here, an opportunity. If you get 2 out of 3, get some points and get in there, and who knows, right?
It's definitely, I mean, Swift Current, as bad as a record is, have not played bad at all.
Nope. They beat PA. Who else did they beat? They
should have beat Saskatoon.
Yeah.
They were up too late, and then
I watched that game.
The old icing with the empty net. I don't know if they were shooting for the net or not. I had it on. I wasn't paying that close attention to it, but icing, and they scored off the face-off. And then they scored again, and then Saskatoon won in overtime. So Swift Current should have had that game.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing's a shoe-in.
No.
But they're 3 teams that they should be able to keep up with at least. And I don't know. It's not all lost yet. We're only 8 games in, so there's still a chance here. Now a bit of news out of the queue. I mean, we're talking about a chance, so you might be saying to yourself, well, for what? What are we even playing for? So just this week, the queue announced they are, or at least they have a plan for a playoff format. They're going to be separating between the Quebec teams and then the Maritime leagues. Looks like the Quebec teams will be starting off fairly soon and early and finish off almost a month ahead of the Maritime teams. And then Maritime teams will finish up and they'll end up playing each other. Is that what they decided? How are they going to do it?
Yeah, in the end, somehow, if it all works out.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's just indicative.
It's a little convoluted.
It is. And there's some weird time frames in it, going well into June, wasn't it?
I can't remember.
Yeah, it goes for a while.
I didn't read it very attentively. I just kind of scrolled through it. I was like, oh, they're doing this, they're doing that.
But if one of the leagues is doing it, maybe it'll put some pressure on the other ones to get going, to figure something out. And anyways, so there might be something. Who knows? But let's get through this week first. But it's just maybe something, a little bit of a carrot at the end of the stick. We got a long ways. The Pats have a long ways to go before they can even think about some sort of playoff.
Yeah, and post game there, that Saskatoon game, Nyhoff was asked about the slow starts. I don't know if we want to play that clip. And he's the guy that's got to, he's the leader. He's the guy that's got to, address these kind of things.
Yeah, I think it's worth getting some from the captain here. I mean, he's had some little bit of fire here. He had the Gordie Howe in
Saskatoon.
It was a Saskatoon game.
Yeah, the ex-teammate Josh Paulus.
Yeah, that was, out of everyone, that was a bit of an odd one, I thought. Paulus, when he was with us, wasn't really noticeable that way, and
no, definitely not. So I didn't really see what kind of brought that on.
I didn't see what started that, and then I did see what started Dubinsky's.
Yeah, definitely. He took a pounding though. Oof.
He looked like he was up for more. I mean, Dubinsky's a tough kid. He seemed like he wanted to keep going, but yeah. That's another thing though. Who is our enforcer on that team? We were talking about that with my father-in-law. I didn't have a good answer.
I'd say probably Walker.
Probably. But I don't know. It's not. I mean, hockey's changed a bit when you think. But you think if you got someone like Bedard,
yeah,
you need someone. You need a Coltrane Wilson.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, Dubinsky will mix it up, and obviously Nyhoff will. But you think of the forwards. I don't know. Maybe Dedemy because he's an older guy. He could probably handle himself. But I've never seen him fight. I don't think, but.
I mean, we're missing some grit in that sense.
Englot would probably go.
You think so? He's a big kid, too.
Yeah.
All right.
I think he's had a fight or two. But
anyways, let's hear from our captain. Oh, captain.
Yeah, like I said, I think we came out a little bit flat. We kind of get off our game plan early, which we need to address and work on moving forward. I think it's just the little details that we got to touch up on. But we've been in these games. I think we're right there, so we just need to stick to it, and just everyone needs to bring a little bit more to the table.
Everyone's got to bring a little more to the table. If you had to kind of pick something, what are you looking at right now for next week? What do you want to see improvement on?
In the Winnipeg game, it was definitely the turnovers, but they kind of addressed that. It seemed like they were turning over the puck constantly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that was because of the inexperienced D, first couple games for these guys or not, but and I think the tension in the offensive zone, we got to, create some more chances, offensively.
Yeah, I would agree. It felt like that Winnipeg game, just the zone time, like in their zone, just is so limited. And sure, you get these nice couple breaks here and there, but that sustained pressure. When we do play well, that's when I really start to notice it. You see, that's that setting up in their zone, getting the passes and puck movement and nice crisp passes, and it just I just love to see some of that this week. And just tighter defense. I know the guys are young back there, but just fundamentals, not getting out of position. And sure, there's going to be mistakes, but like those simple things of not both guys going to the puck carrier and leaving the trailing guy wide open. Just little things.
Yeah.
And
there was another one with one of the young D-men. He pinched when the other D-man was already in deep, and it was a breakaway. And you just have to be cognizant of where your partner's at. Like you can't make that play. You can't make that decision. Like and in the Winnipeg game too. So Kevin and I are sitting there in the Pats end, and it's like, oh, we haven't noticed the top line. The only thing I've noticed them is being hemmed in their own zone for most of this first period of their shifts. Like it was the top line couldn't even get anything going.
Yeah. And
so
I mean, to be fair, Winnipeg's a damn good team. They have some really good players on that team, and if you give them that kind of space and time, they make you pay, and they did this week on us. So.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope things turn around a little bit this week.
I mean, Moose Jaws look good. Swift Current has, like I said, it's going to be tough. Brendan has. I hope for one win. Two. I mean, okay, I'll say one. I hope for two.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then right after that, you got Winnipeg, Moose Jaw, Swift Current again. So, that's a tight little stretch here. You got just over a week. You got 6 games in 8 days. This is a tight, busy schedule here.
Yeah, I'd hope to see. We'll see how the defensive core comes back together too with injuries. These young guys they're gonna get tired. They're getting lots of experience at least. Hey.
Yeah, I mean
Let's take it that way.
I mean, even if they are playing for absolutely nothing, there's experience for next year. Get into this, and with the back-to-back, you're going to see 2 different goalies. I'm sure Monday, Tuesday.
Yep.
I like to see a keeper get at least one. If not, I'd like to see keeper get Monday, Thursday.
I think so too. Yeah.
Because he's clearly right now he's the guy that seems to be most in the groove. So let's roll with that.
Till he's not. Yeah, like you can't justify not playing him right now with the way the team's playing. You need something to build off of, and right now I think that's him.
Yes, definitely.
So you've been watching any other games around the league?
I have not watched a bunch. Like I've flipped it on tonight. I tried to watch there's your boy Damian Hunt just took a nasty penalty. Oh, elbow right to the chops. Oh, he got the game. 5 in a game.
He delivered it?
Yeah.
All right. That
to
seems
the PA
about right.
guy. Yeah, they sent him out. They just sent him off.
Such
your boy. So now Moose Jaw's down 2 men for a minute and a half as well. And there's only 6 minutes in the game. They're down 1, so that's kind of a critical point. But anyways, back to this here. So I've got this game on. I tried to watch the Tri-City game, just flip it on. It was unwatchable. Like the video was all messed up, sound was all messed up. It was literally terrible. So I went to the Portland game. It worked until it stopped working right at the end of the game, a 1-goal game, and it just cut out with, I can't remember how many minutes left, but yeah, it was done. So then I flipped over to this game. But yeah, all the games out of this East Hub have been good quality, like I said, and honestly, I have not watched a ton of other games.
Well, like we said, there's lots going on at the Pats and things like that, so it's not a lot of extra time to be watching things. But just looking around the league, you've got Everett at 4-0 with Dustin Wolf putting up 3 shutouts.
3 shutouts in a row, and then a 1-goal game against Portland there last night, I think it was, in overtime. So
he's looking awesome. And then you go to the Central, and you got Edmonton 9-0. I don't think that's. 9-0 is maybe they've got a great team though too, right? They've got some really good players there. Yeah, and it's gonna be frustrating for them for not being able to maybe finish out this season. But I mean, same thing happened last year with some of those good teams as well, not being able to see it through. But yeah, and then BC division just kind of getting kicked off. I saw the email from the WHL again, no positive tests this week, so good job, everyone in charge of that, keeping everyone safe. And I mean, some news out of Regina, they're starting to move forward with some more restrictive shutdowns. There's a little crossed my mind. Are they going to still allow this and to go forward?
That's what I was thinking. And Kevin and I were talking on whatever night that was, Tuesday. That's the day that those restrictions had come out. Yeah. And he said that nothing is going to change because it's working. Nothing's happening. I thought, maybe we'll get the boot because we're kind of non-essential, right? Mm-hmm. Like maybe the scouts might get the boot for a little bit, but they said nothing's going to change because nothing's going wrong. Everything's working, and the health authorities, keeping their eye on it. Everything's, on the up and up. And so they're just going to keep rolling with it until something does change.
I don't know where I read it, but I think someone said the biggest risk is probably the officials.
I said that.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they're the only ones not, in the, not
some sort of
quarantining per se. And because they're doing their everyday jobs and then coming and they're right near the players, right?
Yeah.
So I said, like the scouts, media, off-ice officials, they're nowhere near the players.
Exactly. So, yeah, it's those the actual referees and linesmen skating around beside them. They have kind of masks, but they're like just single ply.
I know,
like
just those gaiters, right? They're pretty thin.
Yeah. That's not doing much. Sorry, everyone, but that is not doing too much. It's better than nothing. I'm happy they're doing it, and I hope they're being safe in the community. But so far, so good. Who was I listening to? Like they said, it's 2 weeks. Oh, it was the broadcast last night. They were like, it's only 2 weeks, and it does feel like longer than 2 weeks already. I don't know, maybe just the amount of games and just what's going on.
Yeah,
but
that's true. Yeah,
it's only been 2 weeks.
And speaking of that, when I was watching the Portland game, when it did work, they have to wear their gaiters on the bench.
Mm.
So everybody on the bench is wearing it, and then you go on the ice, you can take it down. So
okay,
that's interesting. That's interesting. I mean, for being the American games, I thought maybe the restrictions would be a little looser down there, but obviously they're a little more.
Yeah, I think it's state to state. So where is...
that was in Portland. That game was in Portland I was watching. So they're back in Portland.
Interesting. Okay.
And I couldn't watch the Tri-City game, so I can't comment on what they're doing there.
Good. Right on. Anything else this week then?
I don't think so. I think that's about it. That's we've been chatting. We said we didn't have too much to talk about, but we got a decent show in tonight.
Yeah. Okay, let's wrap it up. Let's hope for a better showing this week. Just some better efforts. I think just more, fundamentally good hockey is all I would really hope for.
Consistency maybe is the word we're looking for. A solid 60 minutes. Like they always say that, but we haven't seen it yet, right? No, even in the PA win, I wasn't too happy with the first period.
And then even in the losses, they show those little glimmers. Like that Winnipeg game had some chances and some good play, and Saskatoon, there's some unlucky goals, but they had some nice stretches. Let's put some stuff together here. Let's get some wins, and we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah.
All right. Good night.
All right. Good night, guys.
Bye.